Hey everyone, there's a documentary about Tom Green, who was a polygamist, and he had, I think, 5 wives, and they were all pretty underage when he married them and then started impregnating them. They lived off the welfare system because they moved all the way out into the desert and rounded up several trailers and moved all their families into them. Eventually, one of the trailers caught on fire and they couldn't get one of the children out. So little Jerry passes away. So sad. Whether we agree with their lifestyle or not, it's always horrible to hear about a child losing their life. But I was watching this documentary and this part it hit me so deep. I just wanted to share it with you. Now, these are Tom's children taking flowers and stuff to little Jerry's grave on this day.
Not inside. He's in heaven, not inside.
A couple winters ago, our home burnt down, and Carrie and Linda managed to get all of the children out, and Jerry was the only one that they could not get out.
It is so sad. But this little girl, one of the sisters, not her, but one of the sisters, goes to the gravesite. And they still, at this time now, I'm not talking about now because a couple of the wives have left Tom. Now, back when this was recorded, all the wives were still there with all the children, and they lived in this place with all this debris and destruction around these children. But here was the clip of the little girl.
There were 25 children in the old homestead we were living in.
25 children. That's not including adults. Now, there were several, like 5 wives, I believe. Tom and this particular wife were gone that night.
Later on, we found out that it was a wiring problem.
This is the sister, the little girl who is sister to little Jerry. And she's just so beautiful and so sweet and innocent. And bless her little heart, she gives one of the most heartfelt interviews I think I've ever seen. Tom Green should have been ashamed of himself for having all these kids live like this. It is it's disruptive to a child's life and education to have to live this way. And I hope that these children all made it to a safer place at this point, because again, this was, I think, either in 99 or 2000. I'm not sure when this was recorded. I'd have to find out, but it just breaks my heart.
Well, Jerry died right here. And we used to put a board over it. But now, my mother, the one who born Jerry, she has his body in a little container. And his body is ash now. But they did find a couple bones and stuff, so he had a funeral. And I just didn't like the fire. And Jerry died here. No, not so often. We go to more than his grave, though. I go to his grave more often. Hardly anybody's gone to his grave.
You see how she says hardly anybody goes to his grave? You see how Tom had these children living out here?
I can't help burying. I just didn't like it.
Now, this is Tom. He is the person.
Occurred. The shock of
He is the person who married all these women. Now, in this video here, you'll kind of get a little bit of the background real quick. Hold on.
Goes and marries 13 and 14-year-old stepdaughters, deprives them of education, gets them pregnant, and lives off the welfare system.
A lot of people see him as arrogant. I see Tom as very self-confident.
Tom is a great guy to talk to. I think he's a funny guy, but he is a pedophile.
Our children see their father as a religious prisoner.
The underground world of polygamist Tom Green. Next on Mugshots.
Now, you know, he even admits in the other video, the documentary before he was arrested, he even admits that he didn't have time to spend with all the kids and that he didn't have the money to take care of these kids and these women. He even says that the women have to go out and try to sell magazines to make a little bit of money because he was unemployed. And what's crazy is in this story, he marries a mother and daughter. He marries sisters. They even talk about how their children are kin by being brothers and uncles and cousins and stuff. And it is just so, just not only shocking, but, and I'm not bashing polygamy. Don't take it that way. I'm not bashing polygamy. What I'm bashing is child neglect, child abuse, child molestation, being with people who are underage who cannot consent, brainwashing children into believing they have to grow up and have 10 wives with 40 children. That's what I'm talking about. The issue is, it is just such, it's just so like, and even this video, he is trying to take on another girl who's like 16 and her name, they show her. Let me see if I can find the clip. It's, yeah, this girl.
He's falling in love. It's that feeling that you get.
Well, maybe it weren't her, but it is another 16-year-old girl. Let me see if I can find that clip.
And as an incentive to get the route set up, they're ultimately
Okay, that's where the women are selling magazines. I'm sorry, I'm so unprepared at the moment. This video. Okay, there she is. This is her. Now she's so, you can tell she's so childlike that when they ask her about marrying him and being with him and stuff, that she can't even answer the questions.
What do you want me? Tell us. Also marrying us and not just Tom.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Myself.
Who are you?
This girl can't even answer the question. She is so, she has been raised to believe this. You know, she is actually Tom's adoptive son's daughter. They're all connected in one way or another. And it's like, but he didn't go through with marrying her, I don't believe, because they start to get into a little bit of trouble eventually. But check this documentary out. It is on Real Stories YouTube channel. And it'll just be like, whoa, this goes on in America and other countries every day. But we need housing for people who want to get out of these situations to go into. We don't have housing, enough housing. And one of the problems is we're supporting people like Tom who refuse to work but keep having more and more children and keep them uneducated. When we could be supporting, you know, getting the children to safety, getting the women to safety, and getting anyone who wants to leave to safety, and locking people like Tom up. You know, because what he was doing was grooming and then marrying the children. It's just, it's crazy. I don't know how else to put it. It's just very, very, very shocking and sad. And they talk, I'm trying to find that clip. Look at all these trailers they've got lined up here. He's lined up all these mobile homes for his wives and children, and some of them are livable, some of them are not. And then there's like a huge place where it's like destruction, where the house burnt down, they never cleaned it up. It's just really sad. There's a part in the beginning where they talk to Tom's son about would he ever want to get married, and he's like, yeah, I'd like to have 12 wives, because he is being so brainwashed into believing that's what he's supposed to do. Instead of telling him, hey, you can do, live a life if you want to be alone, or you want to be single, if you want to be gay, if you want to have a wife, or if you want whatever. But instead, they drill it into their heads, or Tom drills it into his kids, was drilling it into his kids' heads, that you have to believe in this religion and have 30 and 40 kids. And the more kids you have, the more you believe in God. The more children you have, the closer you are to God. Then you end up with huge families on welfare, and the parents don't work, and the mothers are at home with the children, and the dads are hopping beds, basically. I'm not saying all polygamy houses are like this now. Don't get me twisted here. But there are people like Tom who are doing this. And it's really sad.
Barbara. How old are you? 11. How many wives do you want to have? As many as I can. What do you think would be a good number? 12.